Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Texas Rangers franchise on the MSM Sports Network. We start today's episode with a little bit of fun as the Rangers won Game 2 against the San Diego Padres 6-2. The very next day, they would walk off the Padres in the final game of the series as David Dahl singled up the middle and scored Nate Lowe all the way from second base. And just like that, the Texas Rangers took the series over the San Diego Padres after a 1-0 loss in that opener. It was really encouraging to see the guys battle all the way back, and to have a walk-off against the closer like Mark Melancon is even more special as the Rangers get it done in the Powder Blues and take the series over a very good San Diego team. While it might not be this year that Texas is competitive and makes the playoffs, it's moments like that that really gets you excited for the rest of the season. So we head into the rest of the month of May. A couple of things to make you aware of. The Cubs signed Roberto Osuna, and then the Rays acquired Brett Gardner for a shortstop prospect. I was a little bummed that I let that one slip through just because Gardner is going to be a career Yankee, but, you know, it is what it is. So now, as I promised, we'll get through the month of April and get into the month of May, and a couple of things that we need to take care of here in this next little bit. First, we call Davis Winsell up to AAA. Kyle Gibson then goes down with elbow tightness. We're going to be extra cautious with him, send him to the 15-day IL. He was pitching really well in that game too, 7 2/3 innings before he got injured. But what it does do is it allows us to call up Cole Hamels, who is pitching well at AAA. Cole back on the Major League roster, and he'll wear 37. Unfortunately, though, Kohei Arihara then goes down for 2 weeks with a strained pectoral in the series finale. We're going to send him to the 15-day injured list as the Rangers sweep the White Sox on the road. Jose Trevino then goes down for probably closer to 2 months with that broken arm. That's a massive injury, and so, as a result, we're going to call up Sam Huff, the 6'5", 23-year-old, will come back to the major leagues. He played a little bit with the Rangers last season, and as a result, to fill that minor league catching spot, we're going to sign Evan Skoug, former TCU player here locally in Fort Worth. Give you a look at who's on the injured list right now. You see Sherton Apostle, who landed on the injured list with a pulled calf. He'll be back very shortly. But the injuries certainly starting to pile up, and unfortunately, that's not going to be all in today's episode. We then sim through the first week of May, and it is not good. The Rangers go on an 8-game losing streak as they get swept by the Red Sox and the Twins. So we tried to stop that here in the first game against Seattle, and it went to extras once again with Sam Huff at the plate. We're going to pinch run at second base, putting David Dahl a little bit more speed out there, and Sam Huff, wearing the number 55 on the back of his Red Rangers jersey, would not disappoint against Kendall Graveman. He gets a cutter right down the middle, deposits this into right field. Dahl swinging around third base, and he'll score easily. Texas ends the 8-game losing streak with a walk-off in the bottom of the 10th. Finally, something goes right here in the month of May for Texas. After such an incredible month of April, it looked like we were going to be right there in contention, and then just like that, we give it all right back. It's good to get a win against a very bad Seattle team. For whatever reason, MLB The Show just does not love the Mariners right back. They've got a ton of talent, but they never seem to do anything with it, and they're struggling again this season right there with the A's. You saw Steele Walker go down to an injury, and then we get our first trade offer for Mike Foltynewicz, but it's only for Maikel Franco, and Franco, not a terrible piece, but he is 28 years old, only a 73 overall, and we've already got a bunch of bench guys, and so I just didn't figure that that made a ton of sense for us. So we're going to go ahead and reject that trade. We'll sim forward through the rest of this series as Drew Anderson go down with some elbow tightness. Kyle Gibson's going to come back off the injured list, and that'll be a nice bonus for us as you get a look at the standings, 18-17 after that abysmal stretch in the month of May. But we're going to turn to something positive, and that's what AA Frisco is doing. They're 4-1 to start off their season, and obviously a lot of hopes ride with the AA lineup, none more so than what Josh Jung can provide, and that'll be the next portion of this episode, a player lock on Josh Jung here in a game against the Midland Rockhounds. It's Brian Howard, actually another TCU great, going to the mound for the Rockhounds. They're 1-4. We're 4-1. Hans Kraus, who is a young and up-and-coming pitcher in our organization, he's on the bump. And so just wanted to talk through this player lock with Josh Jung, arguably the future at third base for the Texas Rangers. That's certainly what the organization is hoping they get. And on a rainy Mother's Day, Josh Jung would step into the box. Just a 200 average through the first 5 games, but you know what? It's early in the season. We'll take what we can get. The very first at bat, a relatively soft line drive out to second base. That would be the first out of his day. Quick little escapade into the field. And Jung, not the best fielder in the world, but I think he'll be serviceable. He's got a strong enough arm. He can certainly play third base if asked to. Top of the fourth now, we're down 3-0. Jung to the plate and on a 2-2 pitch. He swings and misses at a good Brian Howard curveball. Those two have Big 12 history, of course. Jung, Texas Tech Red Raider, Brian Howard, the former Horned Frog. In the third at-bat, though, it's Jung who's going to get a hold of this one. He drives us into the left center field gap, and we're going for 2. An aggressive play for Josh Jung, but a head-first dive into second base would give him his first hit of the day and his third double on the season. Top of the fourth now against the Rockhounds bullpen, and a 1-0 pitch with a runner on second base. Jung puts a charge into this one, but it's caught on the track, and Jung's day would come to an end there. A 1-for-4 performance at the plate. The Rough Riders do come back and get the victory. Hans Kraus with the win. Parker Dunshee blows it out of the bullpen. Unfortunately, right after that, though, we lost David Dahl. He just had the walk-off for us in just a couple of minutes ago, but he tears his calf in the finale against the Mariners, a game that we dropped 4-1. And so that's going to clear a roster spot for Leody Taveras. Now, Taveras is not the best outfielder performing in our minor league system. It's actually Delino DeShields who's playing really well. You see the fire icon next to his name, but Delino's not on the 40-man roster, and so we're just going to work with what we got and call up Leody Taveras as I give you another look here at what our injured list looks like. And there's a lot of injuries starting to pile up, so I did go ahead and decrease the injury slider just a little bit, just because I felt like it was so many injuries in such a short period of time, and a lot of them ended up being kind of serious. So you see now Jordan Lyles is kind of without a spot as Kohei Arihara comes back. So we're going to make our first trade of the series. We're going to package Jordan Lyles with Charles LeBlanc, a career minor leaguer, for a very young, very raw right-hander in Carlos Hernandez from the Kansas City Royals system. Hernandez has some good upside, but has not proven himself so far, and so it felt like the Royals were wanting starting pitching. Jordan Lyles hasn't pitched terribly this year. He's 2-3, and so we ship him and LeBlanc over to the Royals to complete the first trade. And now we'll get into today's episode as the Rangers and the San Francisco Giants tee it up for just a short 2-game series. It was Anthony DeSclafani on the mound for the Giants, 3-1 with a very good 2.43 ERA. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa continues to be hot at the plate. In his first at-bat of the game, he drives a single right back up the middle, and Texas again off to a good start with a man on base. Go to Willie Calhoun just a couple of pitches later, and Calhoun going to put a charge into this one. A fastball right down the middle, high and deep out to right center field, but it's going to run out of steam at the wall. There was a 6-mile-an-hour wind blowing in from the bay, and you wonder if that had anything to do with keeping that ball in the lot. Nick Solak, the next batter, in the first pitch of his plate appearance, he hits one down to Evan Longoria, who makes a nice diving stop, but then throws the ball away towards the center field side of second base. It would be an error on the veteran third baseman, and the Rangers have first and second with 2 outs. A wild pitch now getting away from DeSclafani, and runners move up to second and third on the errant pitch. So Nate Lowe with a 3-1 count, I should say. A chance to drive 2 in, but he'll take this one inside, and the bases were loaded in the first inning for the Rangers. That would bring up Anderson Tejada, who's played really well for us this season, but since we started simulating, he's cooled off just a little bit, and he's not going to get the job done here. A tapper to the third base side. the pitcher fielding his position, and the Ranger threat goes by the wayside. Well, it was Kyle Gibson who went to the mound for the Texas Rangers in this one, and Gibby in 5 starts, 2-1, a 4.11 ERA. He's gotten lit up just a little bit since we started simulating, especially at the beginning of May. Had a chance for a 3-up, 3-down inning, but it's going to be a double here that spoils that down the left field line. We had Willie Calhoun playing in left field, and obviously he's not the most agile human being out there, so the ball just eludes his grasp, and it was a 2-out double for Donovan Solano, who's actually 9th place in the National League in batting average. Just a couple of pitches later, though, and it's a line drive out to Nick Solak, so Gibby gets out of the inning with nothing across. Let's take your bottom 3, and it's Evan Longoria to the plate here with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd, and Longoria going to hit this one down the right field line, this one just out of the grasp of Gold Glove defender Joey Gallo. It hops off the wall, and Longoria able to beat that one out for a double. And the very next batter would be Tommy Listell on the first pitch. He's going the opposite way into left field. Again, Calhoun out there, not the best defender, not the best arm. It was a good throw, but just late to the plate, and Longoria scores from second base. San Francisco puts the first run across as you get another look at this one. A good piece of hitting there from Tommy Listella, not doing too much with the pitch and just taking it through that shortstop hole. Like I said, a really good throw from Calhoun, but he just doesn't quite have the arm, and a great slide, a veteran slide by Longoria to elude the grasp of Jonah Heim, who, by the way, now is the starting catcher with Jose Trevino out. Top of the 4th now, it's Nate Lowe to the plate, and he's going to send a ringing double off of Levi's landing, just missing a solo home run by a couple of feet. Lowe would slide in safely to second base, and the Rangers in the top of the 4th cooking as they look to get the responding run across. 7th double of the season for Nate Lowe. Next batter is Anderson Tejada, and he'll do basically what Tommy LaStella did. He takes it the opposite way into left field. Lowe could have scored standing up, and the Rangers tie it from an RBI single at Anderson Tejada's expense. He's excited about that, especially after he let the opening chance get away from him there in the first inning. This was a little bit of an unfortunate base running as this ball stung into center field. It should have been a single for Brock Holt, but to be honest, I hit back on the running key on R1 thinking it was going to be caught, and Tejada thrown out at second base. Next batter would be Leody Taveras. He strikes out swinging, and the Rangers only muster 1 in the inning. Go to the bottom of the 4th now, and there's runners on first and second, and a double steal attempted here by the Giants. I guess it was a hit and run with Buster Posey, and that didn't work out. Jonah Heim throws out his man very easily. The very next pitch, Buster Posey caught looking at a curveball from Kyle Gibson, and Texas once again dances out of an inning that the San Francisco Giants really threatened to score more. Jonah Heim now at the plate in the top of the 5th inning, and he's going to send this one to center field. It looks like a no-doubt base hit until Mauricio Dubon lays out for the web gem, taking away a hit from the Ranger backstop as you get a second look at it with help from MLB Show Track. And well, Dubon, 100% route efficiency to snow cone catch that one. He covered the 55 feet necessary to rob Heim of a base hit. That would be the end of Kyle Gibson's day. He just pitched 5 in this one. Mike Fultonavich now coming out of the bullpen with Cole Hamels in the starting rotation. This one stung down to first base, but a nice play here from Nate Lowe as he doesn't let the moment overwhelm him. He takes away a base hit from Corey Dickerson here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Buster Posey now up and stings a line drive back up the middle, just out of the reach of Nick Solak's diving attempt. It would be runners on first and second with just 1 out in the bottom of the 7th, and San Francisco looking to get more. Very next batter is Brandon Crawford, and a wild pitch, and the Giants once again throw away a golden opportunity with a base-running blunder. Heim does not let that ball get away from him all that far, and an easy sniper's throw down to third base on the wild pitch to get the second out. 2-2 count now on Brandon Crawford with 2 outs, and Fulte going upstairs. He throws the high cheese right by Brandon Crawford, and Texas again escapes an inning here in the 7th. As Fultonavich fired up to elude any sort of run-scoring opportunity there. Jose Alvarez would come on in the 8th inning for the Giants, and he has not been very good this season in 16 appearances, an ERA over 7. Rangers tried to threaten here in the top of the 8th. Nate Lowe on a 2-2 pitch, and he's just going to ground this one weakly to first base. Texas can't do anything in the 8th, and San Francisco ensured that they take at least a tie ball game to the 9th inning. It was Shane Green who came on out of the pen for Texas, and he's been very good this season. An ERA under half a run in 19 1/3 innings pitched. The first batter would be Evan Longoria, and Longoria going right back up the middle. He sent that one right back up the box, nearly hit Shane Green. San Francisco got the opening runner on, and this is going to prove key for the Giants. Is Tommy La Stella, the very next batter? He's going to bounce this one back to the mound. It's an easy out for Texas, but crucially, it does move the go-ahead runner to second base. And La Stella is going to hang his head there, but it provided an opportunity for Mauricio Dubon, who you see there in the graphic, just 133 average with runners in scoring position. Unfortunately for the Rangers, that's not going to matter, as Dubon a chance to play the hero here, and on a 1-2 pitch, Dubon gets a hanging slider. This one back up the middle. It looked like there was going to be a play at the plate, but Leody Taveras overruns the baseball. Longoria scores uncontested from second base, and Dubon pulls in with a scorekeeper's generous double for the San Francisco center fielder. You get another look at it, and Taveras just misplayed it. I don't know if he took his eyes off the ball or what, but that ball should have been an easy one-hop into the glove, and we would have had a play at the plate. Instead, Dubon comes through in the clutch, and San Francisco with the lead now in the 8th. Shane Green will get out of the inning as he strikes out Corey Dickerson looking, but Dubon has given the Giants the much-needed run, and they'd turn to Taylor Rogers out of the bullpen. 12 saves in 13 opportunities, and ERA just above 2. Anderson Tejada would lead things off, and he's going right back up the middle on an 0-1 fastball. You see how funky that delivery is from Taylor Rogers. Makes it incredibly difficult to pick up the baseball, but Texas still with the tying run on. 0-2 count now on Brock Holt, the very next batter, and a bad jump from Anderson Tejada. Holt tries to protect him on a pitch that he never had a prayer at hitting, and just like that, the Rangers run into a strike him out, throw him out double play. It fell to Leody Taveras in the top of the 9th, the last chance for the Rangers. A 1-2 pitch here from Taylor Rogers. Taveras gives it a drive out to right field, but again, that wind pushing the ball back into the ballpark, and Gabe Kapler and the Giants take the series opener over the Texas Rangers. A pitcher's duel that resulted in a 2-1 finale as the Giants escape. Texas really probably should have given up more runs in this ballgame. They danced out of a couple of opportunities, but they also wasted some good scoring chances as Jose Alvarez gets the win out of the bullpen. Shane Green takes the hard luck loss. You look at the box score there, and we only struck out 3 times, but we only earned 1 walk. That was a walk by Nate Lowe in the first. You think back to what could have been in that first inning, and gosh, it kind of makes you sick to your stomach to see that the Rangers wasted that opportunity to push across a couple of runs, maybe set the tone for what they could have done in that first inning. Gibby only went 5 innings pitched. Fultonavich was good out of the bullpen, 2 innings of relief from him, and unfortunately another low-scoring affair in which the Rangers just can't quite get it done. Well, you look at the rest of the schedule, and again, we are struggling in the month of May, just 2-8 here in the month. In the next episode, we're likely playing a game against the New York Yankees and then simming through the rest of the month of May. After the Yankees, we'll get to the MLB draft, and we'll have that presentation for you in a couple of episodes. Well, that'll do it for episode 5. Appreciate you guys watching here on the MSM Sports Network. Please leave a like and share with anyone you think might be interested. It really goes a long way. Until next time, so long, everybody.